Whether the team is performing clean or unsightly, we'll cover it all here on Washington Football Nightly. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Let's get to tonight's lead story. So Washington is now 3-7 after the 20-9 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in week number 11 of the National Football League. And they did it in a way that they've done it a couple of times already before this season. It's amazing. They haven't won many times this year, but when they have won, we haven't had to sweat it out at the end like in past years when we won games. We haven't had to sit and on pins and needles and hope that, Dustin Hopkins makes this 43-yard field goal to give us the win, or hope that the other team misses a 48-yard field goal to get it done. When we've won this season, we've won comfortably. We've won running the clock out at the end of the game. We've won by double figures. Every win this season has been by 10 or more points, which is crazy because we've only led at halftime one time this season, okay? And that was the Dallas game the first time around. Every other game this season, we've trailed at halftime, and in most of those instances, we've trailed by double digits. We were losing by 2 points at halftime of this game, 9-7. Lots of things transpired in that first half, none of which led me to believe that we were going to win this game comfortably 20-9. I didn't think the Bengals were done scoring. I didn't think that we would only get to 20. There are a lot of things that transpired in that second half that led to the dominant performance that Washington had in the second half that led them to win this game comfortably. And we'll get to those things here in a second. Obviously, the most notable is Joe Burrow going down for the remainder of the season with a torn ACL, MCL, and other ligament damage. At the end of the day, though, Washington got it done. And you could sit here and talk about, well, if Burrow would have finished the game, well, he didn't. Okay, Washington got it done. They played smart football for the most part all game long. They did a really good job of stopping the run, which was something that they had not done in past weeks. They got a little bit of pressure on the quarterback. Even when Burrow was in, there was a little bit of pressure on Burrow. He did get the football out of his hands very quickly and often to the right guys that made plays for him. But there were some good plays made on our end too. And at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from the first half of this game was Washington never broke. They bent, but they never broke in this game. They played bend, but don't break defense. They only gave up 9 points. The Bengals never punted in the first half. They went down the field, had to kick a field goal. Field goal kicker missed a 34-yard field goal. They went down the field, went for it on fourth down. Chase Young forces a fumble. We recover the fumble in the end zone. Touchback, 1st and 10, Washington. They get down there. They finally do get in the end zone, score a touchdown, and then they also had a missed extra point on that one. And then they get down there again, hit a field goal from 50 of all things. He hits the 50, I think it was a 54-yarder or 53-yarder, bangs that home, but they get an interception late in the half, have a chance at another field goal. He misses that one. Yeah, that one was from like 58 or whatever it was. So for as many times as they had opportunities, they only came away with 9 points. It's a different game. If he makes the field goal, if he doesn't miss the extra point, and he makes the other field goal, it's a totally different game. All right? So, or if they had just settled for a field goal instead of going for it on fourth down, they were in chip shot field goal range, and they instead decided to go for it and elected to bypass the field goal attempt. It's a different game if it's 16-7 at halftime instead of 9-7. But it wasn't. We did what we've done all season long in the third quarter, which is dominate. And they didn't score a single point. And even before Burrow's injury, they had 2 possessions, 2 3-and-outs. So the defense was starting to rev it up, and we were going to get great field position. If Burrow doesn't get injured, does the offense race down the field and get in the end zone? I don't know. Is the morale down for the Bengals at that point? I can't answer those questions. I just know what happened. Washington got great field position. They took the football down the field, got it in the end zone, took the lead, never looked back in the game, won the game 20-9. How did they accomplish that? Let's go through these keys to the game that we had going into the football game to see what they did right, what they did wrong, and how they were able to come out on the right side of Week 11's contest with the Cincinnati Bengals. So first key to the game was Washington's offense needed to protect the Duke. meaning protect the rock. They had 1 turnover in the game. They forced 2 turnovers, which means they finally won the turnover battle for once in these last, 6 weeks or so. It seems like we've been on this never-ending quest to make sure that we lose the turnover battle every week. Well, we finally won it 2-1. All right, they had 2 turnovers. We had 1 turnover. So we were able to finally win the turnover battle in this game. And it wasn't clean. Would like to have a no turnover game, but we did have the deflection and the interception right before the half by the Cincinnati Bengals on an Alex Smith offering. And luckily enough for us, they got no points off of that turnover. Credit the defense for that. And we were able to survive that mistake. And Washington was able to force a fumble, and they were able to pick off quarterback Ryan Finley as well. And that was kind of a meaningless interception at the end of the game. I don't care. I take them any way I can get them. So Washington did win the turnover battle. Converting cash was the next pro for this offense, was the next key to the game. They needed to convert on first, second, and third down, convert first downs essentially, and they needed to cash in when they got into the red zone. Washington was 2 of 4 in the red zone. Not exactly the percentage you're looking for. Had to settle for some field goals, and need to be able to get in the end zone. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is getting into the end zone. But they were able to score touchdowns a couple of times, and they were able to keep Cincinnati out of the end zone. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. So they did a good job of scoring some touchdowns when they got down there close to the end zone. But you'd like to be perfect if you can. If you're going to have 4 trips into the red zone, you'd like at least 3 of those to result in touchdowns. Only 2 did in this ball game. And so you'd like to improve upon that moving forward. But it was good enough to get the job done in this ball game. The next key for the offense was go with whatever works. And I thought Scott Turner did a tremendous job of doing this in this game. Although I was hypercritical of some of the second half play calling and them taking their foot off of the gas pedal, so to speak. I understand why they didn't, and I acknowledged that yesterday after the game was over. I still don't like it, but I know why they did it. You're playing a team that doesn't have a quarterback that scares you. You feel like the only way they can come back and beat you is if you beat you. And so the only way to ensure, and there's really no insurance that you're not going to beat yourself, but the easiest way to have them come back is for you to keep throwing the football, not running the clock, have something crazy like the Alex Smith pass before halftime that gets batted in the air and picked off. That's really the only way you feel like they can come back. If you continue to run the football, you're going to have the clock continue to run. It's going to shorten the game. And if guys hold on to the rock, and we were having success, you're going to be able to run this clock out. They're not going to be able to get the football back, and they're not going to have opportunities to beat you. So I understood the logic. I just didn't like it. Same thing we did against Dallas. Kind of took the air out of the ball, kind of played a conservative approach. Instead of putting your foot down on their throats and squashing them, we decided we'll let you live, but you're gonna have to live on this ventilator. Nope, I'd like to just kill them right there and then and there. But we let them live on the ventilator, which is fine. As long as we get the win, I don't care. But I said go with whatever works. For the last 2 weeks, we've exclusively went to the passing game, especially in the second half. But that's what happens when you're down 20-3 at the half, like we were against the Giants 2 weeks ago. That's what happens when you're down 17-3, like we were, 17-3, like we were against the Lions last week. So you have to go to the passing game to move down the field quicker, to get chunk plays and things of that nature. So that wasn't the case. We were down by 2 points at halftime. We didn't dig ourselves this ridiculous hole that we had to dig ourselves out of. We were able to be right there and stick with what we felt like could work. And then once we took the lead, we were able to continue to ground it out and ground and pound them by rushing the football. 34 carries total between McKissick, Barber, Gibson, and I think they might have, and Logan Thomas. You might have a Alex Smith carry in there. Cool. But for the most part, 164 yards, which averages out to right around, 4.6 yards a carry or so. We were effective on the ground, and it worked. We were really balanced. 171 yards passing, 164 yards rushing. So the balance was definitely there in this game. And because of that, we were able to take care of business. So they went with what worked. They didn't say, hey, let's just pass. We have success throwing it. Let's just throw it. No, let's go with what works. The ground game was working. They stuck with it. It helped net this team a victory. Take advantage of a below average secondary. I thought we picked our spots in this game, but we didn't have the type of success I thought we were going to have. You get the big ball, the 42-yarder to Terry in the first half. You get a couple of nice gains in the second half. I think we had a nice gain to, I want to say it was Cam Sims. Might have been Isaiah Wright in the second half. We had a couple of nice passes, but for the most part, we were pretty much void of chunk plays, but we were able to stay on schedule for the most part. So I thought we did a solid job of taking advantage of their secondary, but I thought their secondary did some good things as well. But I thought we would have more success throwing the ball. I really did. We had success running the ball. Again, I could care less how we get it. I just want it, and we got it. So you go to the defense. The first key to the game was stop the run. Look, at this point, I told you I was begging. I'll take slow it down at this point. Like, we don't have to stop it. I'll just take slowing it down. Well, we stopped the run. We really did. 18 carries, 70 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground for the Bengals. 3.9 yards per carry. But this is the thing that really struck me in this game is that Giovanni Bernard had 9 carries for 18 yards. So that's 2 yards a pop. That was the guy we needed to stop. I told you if he had a stat line that looked something like, 17 for 86, we were going to lose this game. He had 9 for 18. That's winning football. So really pleased at how the run defense stepped up in this game and forced Cincinnati to have to throw it. And early on, Joe Burrow was doing his damn thing. But in the second half, when they needed the run game to pick up a young quarterback in Ryan Finley, it wasn't there for him to, lean on. There was no crutch there for him to lean on in terms of the run game. He had to do it by himself, and he wasn't capable of doing it by himself. Second down defense must be legit. I thought the second down defense was okay. It wasn't terrible. It was not great. There were opportunities to put them in some third and long situations, and I didn't think we held up as stout as I would have liked us to. But there were also some situations where the Bengals decided to run it on first down, run it on second down, and they ended up in 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7. I'll take that. So I thought the second down defense was solid. It was not tremendous, but it was good enough. Pressure and confuse Burrow. I don't think we did that. I don't think we confused him at all. Thought he was really comfortable. I did think we pressured him. I just don't think he ever felt that pressure, if you know what I mean. He did get sacked once, but they negated that with a penalty. I didn't like the call. They said that Daron Payne grabbed his face mask. Daron didn't look like he had much objection to that, but on the replay, you couldn't really definitively tell if he grabbed his face mask or not. I didn't like the call at all. But at the end of the day, I thought that Jack Del Rio had a clear plan, and he did want to come after Burrow. I just wanted him to confuse him a little bit, and it didn't seem like he was confusing a young fella at all. There were a couple of times on third downs, like the opening third down of the game, where Burrow attempted a deep shot. I think he was kind of confused there, and he threw that one away. It is what it is. I thought we had done a good enough job of stopping them from hitting big plays and from Burrow really getting super comfortable. He was comfortable enough, but he was never back there camping out. We came after him. We hit him a couple of times. He felt us. He just was able to get rid of the football and make some plays, and you got to give him credit. And Tyler Boyd made a hell of a catch on a third down on the opening possession. Like, when guys are doing that, all you can do is tip your cap. They had some guys making some plays. And then finally, red zone. field goal, red zone D, field goals, and specials was the final defensive key to the game. They forced field goals, and they missed 2 of them. Red zone D was exceptional. We did give up the 1 touchdown, but they worked hard for that. Joe took a shot to deliver a ball. Kendall Fuller had tremendous coverage. It was just a perfect pass. Nothing you can do about that. And we forced a fumble on a 4th down, with Chase Young, and we got them to that 4th down. They were down there. It's not like they were at the 10. They were inside the 5, and we forced them into a 4th and goal from the 2 and still got the stop, or the 3-yard line, one or the other. So the defense really stepped up in the red zone and really made it tough on Cincinnati. They were 1 of 3 in the red zone, so red zone defense was really good for Washington. And then special teams didn't embarrass us this week. We did miss a field goal, which we've come to expect now every week from Dustin Hopkins. But we didn't give up any big returns. Good job by Dustin of kicking it out of the end zone. I did not want to see their return man get an opportunity because he's been exceptional this season. We didn't give up anything big to Alex Erickson. He's capable, even though he's been a fumbler throughout his career, but he's been capable. And so didn't give up anything big to him. We didn't fumble anything. We didn't do anything stupid. We didn't do anything to really kill ourselves on special teams. So I thought special teams was pretty solid. So I thought we did enough there to check that box as well. So really pleased with what the fellas did on Sunday. Now, quick turnaround. You're excited because now this Thanksgiving game means something. I'm really excited, and we'll talk about that here in a second, but I got some super chats, so I want to jump into that really quickly. Sonny Rawson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My man Sonny writes, "Hey Lou, after that second loss to the Giants, I thought our season was over like you, but man, does it feel good to have life again in this terrible division." Thanksgiving is huge. I'm 1,000% with you, Sonny, because remember, my basis for thinking the season was over wasn't the fact that we lost to the Giants. That was like 40% of that equation, because remember, I told you, if you can't beat the Giants, you don't deserve to win the division. That was one of my biggest takeaways was, hey, you need to beat the Giants. They're not good enough to sweep you. And we didn't beat the Giants. However, the 60% chunk was because I didn't have any trust in the quarterback position. I said, Kyle Allen was our only hope. He's hurt. We can't go back to Dwayne at this point and expect to win. And Alex is literally done. Like, after seeing him against the Rams, and even though he played okay in that Giants second half, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't like over the moon, but that's why I was done. That's why I said the season's done. We can't win with Alex Smith. We can't. And what I've seen over the last 3 weeks, especially last week against Detroit, that was the one that did it for me, because there was no way we should have even been in a position to send that game to overtime. But Alex put this team on his back is what he did. And he gave us a chance to win. And so seeing that and saying, well, that's 2 weeks in a row that Alex has given us a chance in the second half when all looked lost. And I said, maybe we can win with this guy. And so you're right. I'm not going to lie. It feels damn good to have a game in December. Look, whatever happens with this game versus Dallas, whatever happens, we're going to have meaningful games in December. Celebrate! We're going to have games that actually, look, it's 3-7. I don't give a shit. Okay, you're not going to make me feel, I will tell anybody this until my face turns blue. I don't care. You're not going to make me feel bad for vying for a division that is trifling and nasty. You're not going to make me feel that. Whether it's one at 6-10, 6-9-1, 5-11, 5-10-1, I don't care. All right? I just want a shot. And Alex Smith has infused this team with confidence, and we now have a shot. You're absolutely, once again, 110% spot on. Thanksgiving isn't huge. It's massive. Okay? This is for first place in the division. First place in the division. I never thought we would be here after Kyle Allen went down. Never thought that we would be in a position to even have a chance to be playing a game that could put us in first place. This is awesome. Now, we'll talk about the game a little bit later on, but I thought the season was done. Alex has proven me wrong. I asked him to prove me wrong against Detroit. He did, even though we did not win. He did prove me wrong. And so now I'm looking around and I'm saying, why not us? We will see. Thank you for the super chat, Sonny Rawson. I got another one here from Sonny. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Sonny Rawson. Greatly appreciate you, my man. Sonny writes, keep up the great coverage and work, man. Love what you're doing. I appreciate you, Sonny. Thank you so much for your support. So, got another super chat here from my man Barrett Downing, BD. Thank you for the super chat as always. My man Barrett writes, Lou, I want you to stay off the caffeine. You have been talking about crushing someone's throat a little bit too much. LOL. HTTR. I'm looking to have that killer instinct, man. I'm trying to instill it in some of you as fans, and I want that to be instilled in this team. You got somebody down? Don't pick them up and dust them off and say, hey, man, are you all right? No, we're not extending hands out to people to help them up. If they're down, kick their ass while they're down. All right? Make sure they stay down and don't get up. And that's what I want this team to do. Right now, I don't think we have that killer instinct yet. And maybe that will develop over time. But right now, we should have beat the Cowboys 33-3. Okay? Or what they end up scoring in that game? 3, right? Yeah. We should have beat the Cowboys 33-3. We beat them 25-3. And it doesn't seem like that big of a difference. It's 8 points. I want my 8 points. I want to win by 30. You know that 22-point margin that we beat them by was the biggest margin that we've beat them by in forever. I think there was one game at the end of a season when we were making one of those runs in the Gibbs years where we beat them like 37 or 31-7. This was the biggest margin since then. Like, we haven't done this to Dallas in quite some time. I would have liked to have poured it on thick in this game. Like, we were too comfortable up 8 with kicking a 50-yard field goal with the guy that has the second worst field goal percentage in the league. Like, where's the psychological sense in that? Why are you comfortable kicking a 50-yarder to make this? This is an important possession. It's the possession that's going to put the game out of reach at 2 scores. We need this field goal. I would have liked it if there had been a touchdown, but after the tripping penalty pushed us back 15 yards, Scott Turner immediately deemed the possession dead. Can't pick up the first down now. It's 1st and 25. Why not, Scott? Why not? Why not get 8 on first down? Why not get 9 on second down? And now all of a sudden you're staring at a 3rd and 8. You can convert that. But he decided, nope, can't get 25 yards. That's way too much for me. I'm going to just run it on first down, get 2. We're going to throw a little stupid pass out into the flats and get 7. And now it's 3rd and forever. It was stupid. And then throw a screen that didn't work. Try a screen that didn't work. What's your fascination with all these underneath plays when we've been pushing the football all the game? The whole game, we've been pushing the football down the field. Now you want to take these little dink and dunks? Why? Being conservative. Not putting your foot on somebody's throat and crushing their larynx. Get the killer instinct, man. We were lucky that Dustin didn't decide to bitch up on the 50-yarder and instead waited until the game was out of reach and bitched up on the, 37 or 38-yarder or whatever it was then, 43 that he missed at the end of the game when it was out of reach. Had he missed when they were only down 8, a 50-yarder, they would have had tremendous field position, and all they would have needed was a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. That's what I'm talking about. You can't be conservative at that moment knowing that you've got a kicker that isn't automatic. That's all I'm saying. I'll try to stay off the caffeine, though. I get excited. When we start winning, I get excited. When I don't have to be dressed in all black like the Omen, I get to actually wear burgundy and gold. I get excited. Sorry. You have to pardon me. I don't get these opportunities as often as I would like. Got another super chat here from my man, John Perez. JP, thank you for the super chat, who writes, would you be in favor of trading back into the first round of the draft if someone you like is there, especially since we suck in the second round? Now, here's the thing. I am willing to restore faith in our ability to make second round picks now that Bruce is no longer here. To me, he was the problem in the second round. So I'm going to put all of my faith back in Kyle Smith and his ability to evaluate prospects. He has not steered us wrong to this point. And so I'm going to trust that he's going to be able to identify some good value and a good football player in the second round. And you know, what's crazy is that some of the guys that we've picked over the years in the second round didn't turn out to be trash. They just didn't turn out to be good here. They didn't play their best football here. Case in point, Preston Smith. Trent Murphy went and had a really good season in Buffalo. You know, we've seen guys blossom elsewhere. For whatever reason, not here. But for the most part, our second round picks have been tragic. I'm not going to sit here and try to sugarcoat it with just the couple of guys that weren't awful. The rest of those guys were awful. Most of them not even in the league anymore. So I don't have any problems with this staying put, because in order to get back into the first round, it's not just going to take your second round pick. It's going to take more, depending on how far the other team is allowing you to come up from. So, or you're asking that team to go back to. Remember, when we came back to get Montez Sweat, I think we were, what were we, 15? In that draft? I think we were 15. That's when we took Haskins. So that was a pretty far that was a pretty long ask of the Indianapolis Colts. But nobody they loved was there. So they were willing to take our second that year and the second the next year. And that second the next year turned out to be the second pick of the second round. Like, I don't want to do that again if I don't have to. Now, obviously, if there's a guy there, i.e. quarterback, say you don't take quarterback the first time around, and then there's a quarterback that you love, you want that fifth-year option on that quarterback as well, you got to do what you got to do. I understand. But if I can help it at all, I prefer not to do that, personally. Thank you for the super chat, JP. Chris Devers, my man CD, thank you for the super chat. As always, Chris Devers writes, eat early, LOL. Andy mad about that hit last game. Well, we always eat early, okay? Always eat my Thanksgiving food early. When I know we're going to play, I make sure I eat extra early, because normally there's a tummy ache coming a little bit later on in the evening. I'd like my food to be down and settled so that it doesn't come back up. So I'm definitely going to eat early, because that's what we do as a family. But knowing that I've got a game, or we've got a game later on that day against Dallas, I'm going to make sure that I eat nice and early and that everything gets to settle, just in case the fellas decide to show their ass and not act with class on Thanksgiving. I'll be prepared for it either way. If they show class and they go out there and they bust your ass, oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. My Thanksgiving will be immaculate. But if they go out there and they show their ass like they normally do, and you guys get the best of us like you usually do, I will be disappointed. And I will probably turn to the fridge and eat and drink my sorrows away. So there you have that. Andy can be mad all he wants about the hit. We already said sorry. We're not saying it again. Okay? Andy, we didn't mean for that to happen. We're sorry, but we're not sorry. Okay? We already said sorry. We're not going to say it again. If you want to do something about it, do something. Here's your chance. Got another super chat here from King of the North. Thank you for the super chat, King of the North. Greatly appreciate you as always. King of the North writes, I think the winner of this game will eventually win the division. Problem is the Cowboys bring everything they've got on Thanksgiving. It's a pride thing. Look, I am not looking forward to this game. I wanted the lifeless, limp, dead Dallas Cowboys to show up. The team that, before we played them, laid down and died on national television against the Arizona Cardinals, that got blown out 38-10. That was the Cowboys I wanted to show up. I wasn't looking for the resistant, squirming, alive. The NFC East is alive. I wasn't looking for the alive Dallas Cowboys, as I tweeted out yesterday night. No, I didn't want the alive Cowboys. I wanted them dead. Dead, I tell you. These bastards are alive and they are well. And as I told you before this season started, they're the most talented team in this division. And if they get their shit together, they're fully capable of all the teams in the division. They're the ones that I'm afraid of. Now, I know Giants fans are out there saying, well, you can talk all that shit you want, but you can't beat us. And you're right. We haven't beat you for whatever reason. We just don't seem to be able to beat you. It's going to come to an end eventually. I don't know when. Don't ask me, but we're going to beat you soon enough. Okay, those games felt more like flukish occurrences than, damn, they're just better than us. It doesn't matter. You beat us twice, again, for the second straight year. This Dallas team, though, is capable of going out and thoroughly dominating us. I don't see it happening, obviously, but they've got the horses to be able to do something like that. And so this is a massive game. And all of a sudden, it's taken on a new life form. Because just 2 weeks ago, who was looking at this game saying, oh, man, this is the biggest 3-7 game in NFL history. Who was saying that 2 weeks ago? Not I. At that point, 2 weeks ago, I was saying, do we have to do this? Do we have to? Now I'm like, oh, I want to. I just wanted a dead Cowboys team. They're very alive and scary, I might add. Got another super chat. This one is from Extra Squaw. Thank you for the super chat, Extra Squaw. Greatly appreciate you. Extra Squaw writes, hopefully we can protect Alex Smith. I feel like we will get the Alex Smith against the Rams if we don't protect him against a good Cowboys pass rush. They are very, very capable. And the scary part is we may not have any of those tackles back for this quick turnaround. I really feel like there was an outside chance at Cornelius Lucas potentially being available if this game were to be played on a Sunday. But because it's being played on a Thursday, I think we're going to have to go with the Morgan Moses at left tackle setup. And I'm not really worried about Morgan on the left side as much as I am worried about David Sharp on the right side. That's what gives me a little bit of apprehension. And I'm not afraid of this Dallas Cowboys defense at all whatsoever. But as you mentioned, the one thing that these guys can do is get after the quarterback. And if they are allowed to put a little bit of pressure on Alex, we can still see with our own two eyes, he can't get away from pressure. It was apparent again in this game. Even though Cincinnati decided, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, they decided not to heat him up. When they were able to collapse the pocket, you saw the play where Brandon Sheriff gets steamrolled by Mike Daniels. Alex just stands there like a deer in headlights, and I think he ended up throwing that one away. But there was another play, the first possession of the game, as a matter of fact, on a 3rd and 2. Morgan Moses is blocking his guy who takes an inside rush, and instead of Alex just stepping back and then going around and getting outside to his left, Alex balls into the fetal position and takes a sack. Like, you didn't have to take that sack, dude. Like, pressure is still something he's not comfortable dealing with right now. So we've got to protect Alex Smith. That is the only chance we have of sustaining any type of passing offense. And the Cowboys, and the Eagles for that matter, are two teams in this division that are fully capable of getting to the quarterback. And so you are 110% spot on. If we do not protect Alex, it will look a lot like the Rams game. I don't think it will be anywhere near the Rams game from the standpoint of, oh my God, we can't even move the ball, 3 yards forward. However, I think it would be more like the first half of the Giants game. Remember that was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like, we kept effing up, and then Kyle Allen got hurt. And when Alex first came in the game, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like, I think that's what you would see is, not necessarily turnovers or anything like that. I think you'll just see a bunch of 3 and outs. And, you can't keep giving that talented Cowboys offense opportunities with Andy Dalton out there pulling the strings. So it's going to be to me, it's going to be a night and day difference game from the last time we saw these boys. They were literally on their deathbed the last time we saw them. And then Mike McCarthy started smashing watermelons like Gallagher, and all of a sudden these bastards are up and well. So if we really want them dead, we're going to have to do it ourselves. But a wise man once told me, anything you want done right, you got to do it yourself. Don't start relying on other teams. Ron, I think, said in that post-game victory speech, he said, guys, gentlemen, we got to start take care of business ourselves. Don't wait for anybody to do anything for us. He's essentially saying, you want something done right? Got to do it yourself. That's what a wise man told me, and that's what I'm telling you. If this team wants to win this division, don't rely on Philadelphia or the Giants to take care of Dallas, or don't rely on somebody outside the division to take care of Dallas. You want to take care of Dallas? Take care of them yourself. We got a chance to do that with the season sweep. Let's see. Got a super chat here from Kevin the PRF. Thank you for the super chat, Kev. Greatly appreciate you, as always. My man Kev writes, we should be in the second round Hall of Fame for 2008 alone. Absolutely. Thomas just before Jordy Nelson, Davis just prior to Djax, and Calais Campbell and Kelly just prior to Ray Rice and Jamal Charles. Davis just prior to Djax and Calais Campbell, and Kelly just prior to Ray Rice and Jamal Charles. Here's the thing. Our second round history is so bad. You could go up and down the list of guys we missed on. All right. I mean, you could even do that back in the 2010 draft with J.J. Watt when we took Ryan Kerrigan in the first round. And I love Ryan Kerrigan. But we could have had J.J. Watt. I mean, seriously, what are we talking about here? But we traded back, and we took J.J. Watt. We took Ryan Kerrigan, which is fine. But we could have had J.J. Watt. We didn't know what J.J. Watt was going to be, obviously, or we would have taken J.J. Watt. Just like we didn't know what Calais Campbell or Jamal Charles or Deshaun Jackson or any of those guys were going to be. They thought they made the right decisions. They were wrong, okay? Very, very wrong. And I remember, and I'm a dummy, all right? I'm a glutton for punishment. And so anything this team does, even if I don't agree with it, I support it. What else are you going to do? Like, I'm not one of these fans that wants to be proven right because I didn't think they did the thing that they did. I didn't think it was smart. So now I want them to be proven wrong so I can be vindicated. That's not, look, if we make a decision or, as an organization, if they make a decision and I don't like it, well, he's a part of the family now. So I got to ride with it now. I didn't love the Daron Payne selection, but hell, he's here. I want him to be the best version of Daron Payne he can possibly be. This is not about me being right. It's about him being good for this team. And so I remember Devin Thomas trying to get Devin Thomas to be nice. And there was that one game against the New Orleans Saints where I said, this is it. Here he comes. The Saints were 13-0. They came to FedEx. We had those bastards on the ropes. I really want to say it was Sean Squeezem. It was one of these stinking ass kickers we had through the years. Missed a chip shot ass 27-yard field goal or some shit like that. Let these bastards off the hook, took us to overtime and beat us. And I remember Devin Thomas went ape shit in that game. Matter of fact, I'm going to look his numbers up. I don't know what they were, but I remember that game. And I remember Devin Thomas was digging in their ass. And I was like, this is it. Devin's about to break out. Never again. Never saw that Devin Thomas another snap for the Washington football team. He was never that nice again. Let's see. Devin Thomas stats versus Saints. Let's see what we get. And I bet you that might have been a career game for him too. Let's see. Let's get these splits. Yes. Let's see if they'll give it to us. Nope, they won't give it to us. That's fine. There's other ways to find this information that they're trying to hide from us. Let's see if I can find his stats. Professional career. Nope, I can't find them. I could find them, but I don't feel like searching for it. I'm telling you, he had a monster game. But we lost, so it doesn't matter. That 2008 draft we talk about, it's not just the second round in that 2008 draft. That draft overall was horrendous. I don't know if any of those guys that we selected in that draft played more than... if Chad Reinhardt is a part of that draft, he's the only guy that I think made it in this league more than 5 years. Everybody else was out of the league within like 3 or 4 years out of that draft in 2008. I'm going to look that draft up. It was a tragic draft for Washington. It really was. It's always one of the drafts that we look back on and we clown because it's just the ineptitude that we've had to deal with this organization over the years. Let's see if I can find a draft from that year. Let's see. Our draft was Devin Thomas, Fred Davis, Malcolm Kelly. Chad Reinhardt is the only guy from this draft that I think played more than 5 years. Chad Reinhardt, Justin Tryon, Durant Brooks, Kareem Moore, another guy that I wanted to be nice, Colt Brennan, Rob Jackson. Rob will always have the 2012 game ceiling pick against Tony Romo. There'll always be that. And Chris Horton, who had the sesamoid, if you remember that line from Jim Zorn. Chris Horton, he's got the sesamoid, right? Man, we've had to deal with some ineptitude in this franchise for a very, very long time. Anyway, I digress. Thank you, Trey. Trey Gouch says 7 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns versus the Saints. I remember that game like it was yesterday. And I said, this is the game that's going to help this man break out. That was it. That was the best of Devin Thomas. And it was unfortunate because it should have resulted in a win, but it didn't. Anyway, I digress. That 2008 second round will go down. That 2008 draft will go down in infamy as one of the worst in NFL history. But the second round, it's just a harsh reminder of just how bad we've been in the second round. And I always like to start there and work my way up through, current times. And you'll see that the second round has just been unkind to us over and over and over again. So thank you for the super chat. And now we will get to our next segment, which is in other news. Ron Rivera stepped to the podium today, and he talked about this team. A lot of things were said. A lot of interesting things were said. We will talk about that. We will talk about this game coming up on Thanksgiving, what it means, how did we get here, and then we will actually take a look at this game, and I will give you my keys, my prediction, and we'll get out of here. But before we do that, a brief injury report for both teams. Since I'm not going to be here the rest of the week, we'll just take a look at this really quickly because we can kind of project what's going to transpire here on Monday with both teams as far as injuries are concerned. So Monday's participation, and keep in mind, today's practice was literally a walkthrough. It wasn't even a real practice. All right. So today you had Antonio Gibson, running back, Dustin Hopkins, kicker, Danny Johnson, cornerback, and Terry McLaurin, ankle, all out of practice. I don't like the fact that Terry McLaurin is on the injury report, but he's fine. He spoke after the game yesterday, made no mention of his ankle. He's going to play in this game. Don't you worry. Antonio Gibson, same thing. He'll be fine. He's going to play in a game. None of these guys that are out of practice are going to miss the game. They're all out of practice for the simple point of just getting them to rest and heal up their bodies. So don't worry about any of those guys. The guys you need to worry about are all the guys that are limited, which we will get to right now. Ryan Anderson, who missed the game against the Bengals, is limited with a knee. He could come back and play. We'll see. DeShazer Everett with an ankle was limited. I don't anticipate DeShazer being ready for this game, which is scary because the Cowboys have the ability to get over the top on us. If our corners play the way that they played this last game, I got no worries, but you can never be too sure with the talent that Dallas can put on the field. Remember what Amari Cooper did to us the last Thanksgiving we saw these bastards? I'd like to prevent that from taking place again. Dontrell Inman, hamstring, limited. He may be back this week. There's an outside shot because he was practicing last week, so I wouldn't count him out of this game. Cornelius Lucas, ankle. I'm not anticipating him playing in this game on a short week. I think they'll just go ahead and prepare themselves for him and or Jaron Christian to return after this mini bye of sorts, because after this short turnaround, you get a long layoff until you play the next game versus the Steelers in week 13. So I would anticipate Cornelius Lucas and or Jaron Christian being ready to go after this little mini bye. And I think we might get some other guys back like Sadiq Charles after that this little mini bye. And you could also see AGG start to practice again and come off of IR as well. So there's some interesting guys that are still lingering out there for us that may be able to come back and help this team down the stretch as we get a little bit deeper into this season. And then Jarrett Norris, linebacker, hamstring. I don't anticipate him playing in this game either. So we go from Washington's injury report to that of Dallas's, and we take a look at the Dallas injury report. Anthony Brown did not practice. That's their cornerback. He's got a rib injury. That's something to keep an eye on. We'll see. Blake Bell, tight end, back injury. Same with kicker Greg Zuerlein. I think both of those guys, more likely than not, will be able to play. Worst case scenario, Blake Bell might not be able to go, but Greg Zuerlein, I believe, will be able to go. I don't expect him to miss this game as their place kicker. Then you got Ezekiel Elliott, Brandon Knight, and Joe Thomas. Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys running back. Brandon Knight, the starting tackle for the Cowboys. And Joe Thomas, one of their linebackers. All full participants on Monday. So I surmise that they're going to all play in this game. So we'll see what happens with this group up here. So we'll see what happens. But Ron stepped to the podium today, and he talked about this team and the win first and foremost. And remember, Ron was kind of talking about this last week, how this win, if we could get it, would be huge. Huge for the psyche of the players, huge for, he didn't necessarily talk about the standings in the division, but, you know, that's the carrot that you keep dangling in these guys' face. It is, when you're 3-7, it's hard to get guys motivated knowing that their season is all but over and now they're just playing out the string. With us, it wouldn't be as hard as, say, the Falcons, you know, or, you know, the Jaguars or some other team of the Jets where you know wholesale change is coming. You know, the Texans. These are teams that more likely than not going to have a new coach next year, new philosophy, new players. All of that stuff is going to be different. New GM in certain instances, like in Houston, they're going to hire a new GM. In Atlanta, they got to hire a new GM. Like all of these, it's hard to keep playing knowing that the guy we're playing for isn't going to be our coach next year. So when you look at it that way, we don't have it that bad. You know, Minnesota, not going to be playing for anything. At least they know who their coach and general manager are going to be next year. So you're playing hard for a guy that's going to be your coach next year. It's not hard to play for a guy that you know is going to be there next year. It's hard to play for a guy where you're like, I don't have to listen to you. You ain't going to be here next year. Hell, I might not be here next year, but I know damn sure you ain't going to be here next year. So you ain't going to talk that shit to me. Leave me the hell alone. So we don't have to deal with that here. But we can take it a step further and say, hey, here's the carrot, the division right here, right in your face. You just got to reach out and grab it. It's like that Geico commercial with the lady trying to get that dollar. He's like, oh, here it is. Got to grab it. Oh, no, you can't. And it's just $1, but you can't grab it. That's how the division is. And just keep dangling that carrot in the face of these players. Hey, man, come get this division. And it keeps these guys motivated, but winning helps them focus. It's hard to put in the kind of work that you put in during the course of an NFL week, come out and lose every week. That shit is tough. It is. And in the manner that we've been losing, it makes it even more excruciating because, you know, if you do this or you do that, that could have changed the game. You make this block, you make this catch, you don't fumble this ball. Outcome could have been different. That wears on you. But when you win, everybody's spirits are up. There's a different energy in the building. There's a different energy and a buzz. And now there's that confidence that I talk about, that elusive confidence that we've been chasing for the last 2 decades, that we never seem to really be able to bottle up, except for when we have those out-of-body experience seasons like 2012 or 2015. The kind of confidence that the good teams have, that air of confidence that, hey, we're going to win this game, man. You know, we'll find a way. We don't have that. But when you start winning, that's what you start to adopt. That's what you start to think. It changes your mindset. Hey, we're in this game and we're supposed to win. Not hoping to win. We're supposed to win this game. We beat Dallas already. We just won last week against Cincinnati. These players are going into this game expecting to win. That's what you want. They're not going to be overconfident. They're 3-7. They're not going to be overconfident. But they're expecting to beat this Cowboys team. That's what you want. You don't want to go into games expecting to lose. So it was a big win, and Rivera kind of expressed that. Like, it's a lot easier to come to work and watch the film and get ready for the next week's preparation with a win in your back pocket. And it's great for the coaching staff. It's great for the morale, but even more so, it's great for the players. And so he was happy that they were able to get that done. And, you know, quick turnaround, got Dallas. And, you know, Rivera talked about this game and potentially, you know, getting, you know, into first place. And he talked about, you know, the Steelers. And he said, look, it's going to take more than the effort we put forth in week 11 to beat Dallas and Pittsburgh is essentially what he said without saying it. Like, hey, Yesterday's effort was good, and it got us the win. But if we want to beat Dallas and we want to beat Pittsburgh, and I was like, hey, Ron. Let's just focus on this one here. Let's not talk about an undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers team. All right, let's narrow the focus. We right here, buddy. Right here. It's Dallas, tunnel vision. Thanksgiving. That's it. We only beat them one time on Thanksgiving. We played them 89 times. We only beat them one time. Hey, here. All right. And I know he's got the guys focused on Dallas. But, he started talking about what, that one win could mean moving forward and how it could snowball. And that's what you want. That's what you want. He talked about standout players from this game. He singled out Ronald Darby multiple times. He talked about Cameron Curl, thought he was outstanding in this game. He talked about the defensive line. He said, I really like the linebacker rotation. I don't know about that. I do know this. The linebackers played better in this game. However, I also know that old man Thomas Davis got smoked by Ryan Finley on 3rd and 22 for like 25. So I'm not saying. I'm just saying, if that were Bostic, if that were KPL, if that were Cole Holcomb, it wouldn't have happened. So, your rotation is cool, but I don't want 92-year-old Thomas Davis chasing anybody on the football field. I've seen that story too many times this year. And at this point, I'm not looking to be kind and rewind. I don't want to watch that shit again. I saw it against Cleveland earlier in the season. I saw it against Cincinnati. I do not want to watch that again this season. So, we'll see what they decide to do with that. But he claims he loves their linebacker kind of committee by rotation by committee thing that they had going on in this past game. So we'll see if that continues on Thursday or not. But all in all, he was pleased with the performance. He talked about how, we were able to establish the run, and he thinks that's important. And we'll see if they're able to do it again. We had our best rushing offensive day of the season against these Cowboys the first time around. I'm just telling you, they don't look like the same team that we saw the last time. Dalvin Cook didn't run roughshod over them. They were physical. They were flying around in that Vikings game. They gave some stuff up. Their secondary is still super duper trash. Still the same trash ass secondary. But that run defense looked way better. Way better. And some of the guys that we were taking advantage of along that defensive line, no longer in Dallas. They cut them after our game. They cut them after our game. So we did some damage. But they look like a different team. And I'm going to tell you right now, this Thanksgiving game is the biggest one in the rivalry. Not just this Thanksgiving game. And I know this sounds crazy. It's 3-7 versus 3-7. I'm aware. And I know what I'm about to say. It's crazy. Just hear me out. This is the biggest game between Dallas and Washington since the 2016 Thanksgiving game between Dallas and Washington. When Dallas was 9-1, Washington was 6-3. I believe they were 6-3-1 at the time of that game. And it was the highest, win total between the two teams in a matchup that late in the season in forever. It was the best aggregate record between the two teams in a matchup in ages. That's not this, okay? There's 6 wins between them and 14 losses. Okay, this is not that. But the implications are massive in this game. And no Dallas-Washington game has carried this much weight, really, since the 2012 season ender for all the marbles. So there haven't been many of these games that have meant any goddamn thing. And this is one that actually means something. I get it. It's 3-7 versus 3-7. The winner of this game is going to lead the division at 4-7. But somebody's got to lead the division. Why the hell not us, right? So this is a massive game. It's the biggest 3-7 versus 3-7 matchup in NFL history, and I feel damn confident saying that. Find me another 3-7 versus 3-7 matchup that was for first place in the damn division. You won't. I feel confident in saying that. You won't. So this is the biggest 3-7 matchup we've ever seen on Thanksgiving, and the biggest 3-7 matchup in NFL history. And yes, I know it's trash, but it's our trash. Damn it. So I'm looking forward to it. So without any further ado, let's get to my final outcome of this game. And I want to read this super chat from my man, Kevin, the PRF, who, double up, thank you for doubling up, Kevin, the PRF, my man, Kev, writes, don't forget what Rivera did to the Cowboys the last time he coached on Thanksgiving. If you recall, he was the coach of the, at that time, 10-0 Carolina Panthers. Remember, that was the 15-1 Panthers that ran, literally ran through the entire league like a hot knife through butter and got all the way to the Super Bowl and was not able to beat the Denver Broncos, but they eviscerated the Dallas Cowboys that year. Now, remember, Dallas was horrendous that year. That was the year that led them to get their hands on Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott in the same draft. So Dallas that year was trifling, okay? However, that's not the Panthers' problem. They destroyed Dallas on Thanksgiving that day, but that's not who we are, all right? We don't have a future MVP at quarterback. We're not sporting the league's best record. We're not undefeated. So what he did back in 2015 has little to no value as to what's going to happen on Thursday in just 3 days from now. However, he knows what it's like to take his team on a short week, on a Thursday, on Thanksgiving no less, on the road to Dallas to try and get a win. It's just a little bit different now because there's a rivalry involved, and this is going to be the real first taste of Rivera getting this Dallas-Washington rivalry, if you still want to call it that. I'm going to continue to call it that, although I know there are some out there that don't consider it a rivalry anymore. You can call it what you want. I still think it's a rivalry. I know it still matters amongst most Cowboy and Washington fans, and thus it is still a rivalry and always will be to me. And they're going to have fans in the stands in Dallas. We didn't the last time we played them, and so this is going to feel a lot different this time around. All eyes will be on us. That's the thing that makes me so nervous. There are two things that make me extremely nervous in this game. One, we're on prime time. And I get it. It's not technically prime time because it's not in that 8 or 9 o'clock hour slot. I don't give a shit. We're the only ticket in town. Okay? You can't turn to another station and find more football. We're it. At 4 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, we're on against the Dallas Cowboys, and there's not anything else on. You are more than welcome to turn to CBS and watch the dog show. But if you want football, professional tackle football, we're it. You got nothing else to go. You got nothing else to go to. So to me, that's prime time. That's scary because we play our worst football in those situations. But this is a different team, different staff. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm wiping the slate completely clean. Clean. I hope that they prove me right for doing that. But we've seen this team this season have a 5 or a 4 turnover day. This would be the wrong time to have that happen. And the other thing that scares me is our lack of success against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. But I'll take it a step further. When's the last time we swept the Dallas Cowboys? Anybody know? I don't know. So I'm asking you, because I don't know. That's how long it's been. And normally when I say something like that, I'm like, and somebody might say, hey, remember, we swept them back in 2017. That's not going to happen this time because we just don't sweep the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know when we did it last. I'd love to know. It's got to be like, it's nowhere in the 20 teens if I had to guess. It's got to be like somewhere in that range of 2000 to 2009. Somewhere in there. I'd guess it's like 2008 or 7 or something like that. Because we were awful in 2009. So I don't think it's then. Anybody know? It wasn't. Was it 2012? Was it 2012? Was it the Griffin year? I'm trying to think. Thanksgiving, we beat them. That's the only time we've ever beat them on Thanksgiving. And then we beat them in the. What about before that? Can anybody tell me? That's 8 years ago. The last time we swept the Cowboys, 8 years ago. I bet you since 2012, they've swept us at least 3 or 4 times. In that same span, that 8-year span. We swept them one time. I bet you they've swept us 4. I'm going to go out on a limb and say 4. At least 4 times. They've beaten us twice. 2012. What was the time we swept them before that? I'm going to let y'all figure that one out. So 2012, we swept them. When did we sweep them before that? If I had to guess, I would say it would be a playoff year. So it'd either be 07 or 05 with Gibbs. I don't think we would sweep them in a non-playoff year. That seems to be the only time we can sweep the Cowboys is when we make the playoffs. So if I had to guess, it'll either be 07 or 05. And I see comments coming in. 05, 05, 05. Okay. So 05, that was I'm thinking, I told you we beat them up at home late in the season. That was Gibbs' second year. And I want to say that was the Chris Cooley 3-touchdown game when we beat up Drew Bledsoe and company like 31-7 at the end of the season. And then 05 is the Monday Night Miracle with Santana, with the Tana Man. So that's probably, if I had to guess, those would be the 2 wins. Cooley at the end of that season with 3 touchdown grabs, and Tana Man with the 2 bombs from Brunell. 05. So, yeah. 2 times. 2 times in 15 years. That's a shame. That's a damn shame is what that is. So, 35-7. Thank you, Fat American. 35-7 was the score in that game. Not 31. 35-7. It was a true ass whooping. That was the last time we gave the Cowboys one of those. Until earlier this season. Because they've beaten the hell out of us plenty of times. We did have that one game in week 17 when we had already won the division. When we set a couple of records. Kirk set a record. Jay Reed set a record. And then we put in all the bums and backups. And they took they took the Cowboys lunch in week 17. That was in 2015. That was fun. Anyway. That's the other thing that has me worried about this game. Is we don't sweep Dallas. Now, if we do sweep them, I just told you, every time we sweep them, we go to the playoffs. Which means we don't do it often, but when we do, we make it count. We did it in 05, went to the playoffs. We did it in 2012, we went to the playoffs. We tried to sweep them in 2015, but Deshaun Jackson decided he wanted to fumble on a punt return, and that went to shit. Matter of fact, 2015. I'm trying to think. Did we beat them in Dallas? We had to have. We had to have. I'm pretty sure we did. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we did. Anyway. Here are my keys to the game. Dallas is, oh. Nope, I'm going to start with the defense or offense. Our offense versus Dallas's defense. First thing we have to do, protect the Duke. I'm not changing that. That's going to be in the keys to the game for the rest of the season because we are our worst enemy. When we take care of the football, I feel like we're a tough team to beat. When we turn it over, we hand the game to our opposition. Protect the damn Duke. The next key is sticking with that theme. Protect Alex Smith. This Dallas Cowboys defensive line, they're not flashy. They're not bagging quarterbacks at an alarming rate. But they're talented enough to create some problems up front. And they got to Kirk Cousins. They blitzed, but they got to Kirk Cousins, forced a fumble. It was helmet to helmet. I don't know how the officials missed it. Doesn't matter. Took the damn ball from Kirk's ass, forced a fumble, and they're capable of getting to the quarterback if you're not careful. So I feel like we've got to protect Alex Smith if we want any chance to be able to execute our offense the way that we want to. Because I feel like there are opportunities down the field vertically against this Cowboys secondary. And the last time we met them, they still had their rookie out there, Trayvon Diggs. He's done. So we won't see him. And he was the most talented guy in that secondary. I'm not afraid of their secondary. So I think there are opportunities down the field to be had. Thielen went off last game. Jefferson went off. The Rook went off against them. They're still giving it up in that secondary. So you got to protect if you want to push it down the field. And, I'll expound upon that. Protect Alex Smith. We need to establish the line of scrimmage. Period. Protecting Alex Smith and running the football. We ran the hell out of the rock the last time we played Dallas. They had no answers for our rush offense. Antonio Gibson went over 100 for the first time in his career in that game versus Dallas. We did whatever we wanted to do on the ground in that game versus Dallas. It was embarrassing if you're a Cowboys fan. It was embarrassing. But I didn't see that same Dallas defense yesterday versus Minnesota. I didn't see that same defense that was willing to lay down. So it's going to be a lot harder. I understand that. I'm no dummy. Thank you, Kevin, the PRF. I thought we won at Dallas because I knew that game in December, I want to say it was in December, was for the season sweep on a Monday night, and Deshaun Jackson fumbled that punt, and we lost the game. But we got to establish the line of scrimmage. We got to dominate the line of scrimmage. Can't let them get to Alex, and we got to be able to open up holes in the run game. I don't want us to turn one-dimensional in this game and have to throw it consistently. I'd like to remain balanced as possible, which is the next key to the game. Being relatively balanced, because I think you can do both against this Cowboys defense. You don't have to pick. You can do both. How are you going to remain balanced? My next key to the game. You've got to score touchdowns. And even if you don't score touchdowns, you've got to get something out of drives that get inside the 30-yard line. So any drive that enters Dallas's 30-yard line or closer, you need something out of that drive. Preferably touchdowns, but even if you can't get into the end zone, you need a field goal Dustin Hopkins cannot miss. This is the game where I look at D-Hop and I say, bro, I can't afford a miss from you. Not an extra point, not a field goal. I can't have a Dustin Hopkins miss in this game. You've already cost us against Dallas before on a Thanksgiving with your shit. I need you to make your kicks in this game. We get inside the 30, we have to score points. Whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, we have to get something out of that drive. We can't have penalties pushing us back. We can't take stupid sacks. We have to get points out of drives that enter the Cowboys' 30-yard line. We get inside the 20, I want 7. And lastly, Terry McLaurin needs to have 90 yards plus receiving in this game. I don't think they have an answer for Terry. And if Terry doesn't eat because they are giving him double coverage attention, somebody else has to. One receiver on this team has to have north of 90 yards, 90 or more in this game. The last time that we had somebody else have more yards than Terry in a game, it was Cam Sims against the Giants. I take that back. I think Terry still had more than him because Terry had the 62-yarder in that game. He might have still had more than Cam Sims. Either way, somebody's got to have 90 yards receiving or more in this game. If it's not Terry, Steven Sims. If it's not Steven Sims, it's Cam Sims. If it's not Cam Sims, it's Steven Sims. Somebody's got to have 90 yards or more. That means we hit some big plays against this Cowboys offense. I don't care how we get them. Wide receiver screens, a touch pass. I don't care. A slant. They miss a tackle. We go. We just need it. Defensively, Washington's D versus Dallas's O. Same thing as last week. Stop the run. We did a really good job of that the last time we played them. I think Zeke was something like 15 for 48. Something around that range. We need to duplicate that. We can't let him get going. Tony Pollard had a big run for a touchdown 42-yarder yesterday against Minnesota. Nah, that can't happen. Got to limit what they get out of the running game because we want to put the onus on Andy Dalton to beat us. We want the red rifle to do us. If he does us, tip my cap. You got us. You got us, Andy. Hands up. You got us, man. But it can't be the run game. Make Andy Dalton beat us. Make him beat us. If he does, you got me. But it can't be Zeke Elliott. It can't be Tony Pollard. It can't be the Cowboys rushing attack. Force third and long. That's the next one. Why? These two go hand in hand. Because we want to do what we did the last time, and that's get after Andy's ass. This offensive line is still patchwork. It's not as bad as it was the last time we saw it. Remember, they didn't even have Zach Martin the last time we saw him. This was a true patchwork offensive line. He's back, and he's playing well, as you would expect. He's an all-pro. But the rest of that line, you can take advantage of it. Whether it's Cameron Irving at left tackle or it's Brandon Knight at right tackle, I don't give a shit. These guys can all be exploited. We need to take advantage of this offensive line. The way to do that is to get them in third and long situations. If they're constantly in 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 3, you're going to see a steady diet of what we got against Cincinnati this past week, which is the quick game. Balls out. Balls out. You won't even get a sniff. We've got to do a good job of stopping the run on early downs to set up long down and distance situations. Jack is going to have to pick his spots. Can't be over aggressive, but you got to be aggressive against this offensive line because I think they can give it up. And Andy's still prone to making mistakes. You can get a mistake or two from Andy, but you got to force it. Andy ain't going to just give it to you. This ain't old Ben DiNucci. You got to force those mistakes. The way you do that is by getting to Andy. And the way you do that is to force them into 3rd and long. And the way you do that is by stopping the run on 1st and 2nd down. You want to have fun on third down, you got to stop the run on early downs. Forced turnovers. The last time we played Dallas, we were able to force one turnover and really two on the fumble that turned into a safety. We were able to force the interception right before half, and we were able to force that fumble that turned into a safety. And that really was a 9-point play because you get the safety, they free kick it, we take that football, and we go right down the field, and we get in the end zone, and that game was never the same after that. So we have to force turnovers. We got to take care of the ball, but we got to also force a turnover or two. Last time we played Dallas, we gave up a big-ass return. Remember, I just talked about that 9-point swing on that safety? We scored the touchdown, and then what happened on the ensuing kickoff? They raced that shit all the way down into Washington territory, 1st and 10 from about the 40-yard line. And luckily enough, the defense stepped up, forced the 3 and out, and they had to settle for a long field goal. They shouldn't have even gotten that. But the special teams gave that up. Have to be good on specials, and I'm including Dustin Hopkins in this conversation because I need all the points I can get. I can't afford a miss from you in this game. Just like last game, special teams needs to be on high alert. Don't give up any big plays. Nothing of that sort. And we'll have a shot. We'll have a shot. I like our chances in this game, but I'm not confident. I'm not confident at all. I got a super chat here from my man King of the North, who writes, first of all, double up, thank you for doubling up, King of the North. Greatly appreciate you. As always, King of the North writes, if Ron can get the sweep, then that alone merits a successful first season. I tell you what, that would be one hell of a feather in his cap if Ron can get the sweep in year one. All right? Nobody's doing that around these parts. Shanahan didn't do that. Gruden didn't ever sweep them. I don't think he ever got that opportunity to do that. He had a chance in 2015 and we blew it. Gruden never did it. Shanahan only did it in 2012, but he didn't do it in his first year in 2010. Gibbs didn't do it in his first year. He did it in 2005, as we talked about, but he didn't do it in 2004, which was his first year back. So this is a chance for Rivera to do something that I don't know if anybody's ever done. I mean, you'd have to go all the way back to good old Allen, George Allen, and see if he swept the Cowboys in year one or not. But it's rare. I mean, hell, the idea of sweeping Dallas is rare in these parts these days. Didn't used to be. It is now. We got a shot to do it. I'm getting excited thinking about it, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, guys. I don't think we get it done. I feel like we're fully capable, but for some reason, Thanksgiving, Dallas, and Washington just don't mix for us. And I got us losing this game 24-22. I'm going to tell you how we're going to lose the game. We get to 20. First of all, 22 is a weird number, so you want to know how we get to 22. I'll explain. So Dustin Hopkins misses an extra point. Doesn't miss any field goals, but he does miss an extra point. He's 3 of 3 on his field goals in this game. We score on 5 possessions. That's a lot. But if one more of those possessions could have turned into a touchdown instead of a field goal, we win this game. But that's been the story of us all season long. Either we don't score enough touchdowns, or we wait too long to turn it up, or we turn the ball over too many times. Dustin's going to miss an extra point. And the Cowboys are going to be trailing this game 22-21. On the final possession of the game, they're going to get the football. They're going to move it down the field. And they're going to get into field goal range for their kicker, Greg Zuerlein. And he's going to bang home a 49-yard field goal as time expires to beat us heartbreaking fashion on Thanksgiving, 24-22. I hope I'm wrong. Because my stomach is starting to hurt just thinking about that. But I think we're going to lose this football game. I don't think we're going to sweep the Cowboys. I don't like this spot for us. I didn't remember when the schedule was released. I said, why? 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 I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like this game. And this is why I don't like it. Because I don't have confidence. I don't have confidence. I do have confidence in Ron. I got confidence in these players. I don't have confidence in this moment. I think it's too big for our guys. You got Chase Young talking about playing in front of LeBron. I don't give a shit about LeBron. But obviously he does. And remember, LeBron James is an Ohio State fan. He's probably met him before. That's probably his guy. He's talking about, yeah, everybody will be watching. LeBron will be watching. That just doesn't sit well with me. I think I heard Steven Sims talking about how this is going to be a big moment. Playing on prime time. You grow up watching this game and now you get to play in it. I think these guys are going to put too much undue pressure on themselves. And I think it's ultimately going to cost us. Hence, we're going to lose this football game. 24 Dallas, 22 Washington. Man, I hope I'm wrong. Man, I hope I am wrong. I don't think I am, though. Leave your predictions for this game down in the comment section. I cannot wait to read them. Score and more. Want to hear it from you guys. What do you think is going to happen in this football game on Sunday? Or, on Thursday. Quick turnaround. We were impressive against Cincinnati. The Cowboys, and let me say this before we get out of here. The Cowboys win over the Minnesota Vikings. By far and away, the best win any team in this division has had the entire season. Let me add something to that. No team in this division has beaten a team with a winning record this season. None. We've only got 4 wins outside of the division, in the division. Dallas beat Atlanta. Dallas beat Minnesota. Washington beat Cincinnati. And Philadelphia beat San Francisco. That is it. Every other win that every team has in this division, all 12 of the wins, 8 of them have come amongst each other in the division. The other 4 have come against non-winning teams. So Dallas's win against a red-hot Minnesota team riding a 3-game winning streak was the best win of the season. That should scare you. Because Dallas had every reason coming off their bye and being where they were to lay down for a red-hot Minnesota Vikings team on the road. And they went in there and they got it done. They were leading at half. They were the more physical team. They forced turnovers. And when they had to make plays, they made plays and they won the game. That should scare you. We wanted the lifeless Dallas Cowboys that we saw the first time. These boys are alive. And they're alive and well. And that doesn't bode well for us. Now, can we send these boys back to whatever hole they crawled out of? Out on a stretcher? Absolutely we can. But are you 1,000% confident that this bunch that we've thought was capable of doing that earlier to the Giants twice and to other teams that we thought they had chances to beat, like Cleveland? You think this team is going to do that on Thanksgiving? I've set myself up a couple of times this year for the okie doke. I have. I'm not falling for the okie doke again. I want to be wrong. Please make me wrong. I've never wanted to be more wrong about this team. I don't think I'm wrong. You guys tell me what you think, though. Leave it down in the comment section. Can't wait to read it. One more thing. This is the last one you're going to get from me this week. I'm on my bye week. After tonight's game, officially on the bye. So, I look forward to chopping it up with you. If you want to watch the game with me, though, and still be in communication, I'm going to be in the comments. I'm going to be in the MOBB. So if you're not a part of the Mob Squad, you need to be there because that's the only way you're going to be able to get to me. More likely than not. Now, if the spirit hits me, win or loss, depending on how the game goes, if the spirit hits me, I might get on my cellular device, my mobile device, and I might actually do a video. But as of right now, this is it for the week. This is it. The last Washington Nightly. This is it. This is it for the week. But, like I said, spirit hits me, we could be back. But if you want to be able to watch the game and chop it up with me, and I know you're going to be doing shit. You're going to do your own thing. It's Thanksgiving. Everybody's doing their own thing. I get it. I'll be in the MOBB. We'll be in there chopping it up, watching the game together, as always. So, I look forward to chopping it up with you. If you're not a part of the MOBB, what are you waiting on? Become a member. Down in the description of this video is a link. Join up. Squad up. Mob Squad. We in the building. So, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. And if you want to cop some merch, 25% off of your purchase, any purchase over $50, use the promo code Give Thanks. Okay? Give Thanks. Not case sensitive, no spaces. Want to cop you some LTN merch? That's the way to do it. All right? That link is down in the description as well. printchamps.com/LouieTeeNetwork. Or I think it's just Louie T. Anyway, I ain't going to hold you up any longer. I'm going to get out of here. You guys, have a good one. Stay safe. I'll be live again tonight for the conclusion of Rams-Bucks. And then I'm off to the bye week. We got a big one on Thursday. Bart Scott! Can't wait. Man, I hope I'm wrong. I really, really do.
Here comes the diesel. Here comes the diesel. There's the snap, hand to Riggins. Good hold. He's got the first down to the 40. He's gone. The 35, the 30, the 20. He's gone. He's gone.